Good morning, everyone. We'll open the doors up. Dan here with Tradingology.com's trading room for April 9th, 2020. Good to see you guys. There we go. Doors are open. Let me know if you can see and hear me. All good to go. Should be all right. We have another jobless claim report we'll probably get to, and looking at the internals, we're all still buried to the upside this morning. The Fed is buying everything. They made a few more announcements. I had a late start this morning, so I'm a little behind in catching up on all the latest info, but we are definitely looking like another day. For those that didn't review the overall market timer spreadsheet, we are seeing bullish herding building out now. Still high average volume per share. So we are leery of this bear rally and being careful of any longs that you have. But we definitely see that coming through. Where 4 of the 6 columns are filled out now. So it started as the bull trap, and it did move down that day, we saw. But since then, we've had the bullish herdings filling out. Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Nisham. You guys can hear me good, right? I think everything's working. I don't have my partner in crime, Dave, yet to bounce it off of to make sure we can hear. We'll just give a shout out in the chat. Trading room is in session. And we were happy to announce, for those that possibly didn't see it, the MES Futures Masterclass is out. So it looks like there was decent activity. So I'm eager for you guys to check it out and let me know your feedback and what you think, and when we got questions around that. You got it, Asham. It was posted late yesterday afternoon. Did a couple of readjusting, moving the stuff around, so you see a big blue button up at the top. So it'll catch your eye for anyone that didn't get the emails. So I want to make sure you guys are seeing it right away. I can pull it over here. Everybody that's a Premium Plus member, which basically means if you had access to the Vol R Masterclass that Dave and I did a while ago, everybody has access. So, yep, we're just giving this to you guys. I want to get as many people that have it. If you're not a Premium Plus member, then you can upgrade to it. So you'll get both the Vol R Masterclass and the MES Futures Masterclass included in an upgrade. So you're good to go. So here is the new front page. You see a big blue up here. And then 5 days with an interview of a client that's been using it. And I'm going over the setup. I'm going to be adding a new overview just to talk high level about it, because this is all basically the trading, so I talk through it. But I definitely am going to put another one out here just to do some high level overview of just the strategy review when I'm not actually trading it, so I can just talk more openly versus watching what's going on and being in and out of the trades. So look for that to come out. I'll probably put that in after the setup or after it as an overview or whatnot. But thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. So anybody that's in there, yep, you can use. It is we are launching it at half price discount. So the upgrades are half what they normally will be. So grab them while they last. And for any new visitors out there that want to join our membership, we're doing half off for that too as well. Whereas you can come in as a Premium Plus for half price and you will have access to everything. So you're prepared for all levels of volatility, whether that's high and we leverage this scalping right now, or if it's, you know, other times where we're doing 3-legged box spreads or people are doing the vol arb strategies. So different strategies for different markets to help you guys out. All right. First two videos. All right, very good. I'll give you a heads up warning, or maybe I won't. It gets better as it goes. Even I had the fun learning of recording and snafus, as you'll see in day 3. So I apologize for day 3. I'll make it up to you in day 4 and 5. How about that? So that's where we're sitting on those. And Dave must be busy today, so you're stuck with me. Let me know if you guys got any questions about it that you've seen so far. We'll just kind of take a review. We see how we definitely had a big rally up here. And now we're hitting a couple points. We see how it's reacting. Internals are all above 2,500. I was going to pull up the calendar quick. I believe it was 6 million some, wasn't it, for the new jobless claims? And they were expecting a little bit lower, so it was higher than expected. Let me look at that quick. Yeah, for those that, I just use this Market Watch calendar here. Economic calendars, 6.6 was it, Stephen? Let's take a look here. Yep, there we go. So previous was 6.9. I thought it was 6.6 last week. Did they change that after the fact? So they were forecasting 6 and we got another 6.6. Or no, that was 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. Either way, that's about 12, 13 million in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And another $2 trillion in stimulus, I think I saw in a quick article. Keep printing that money. And if you guys haven't seen, they launched with the stimulus, there's stimulus everywhere, which is good for people that need it, but it's bad for all of us in the long run because we all have to pay this back eventually, one way or another. And they do that through our taxes later, right? So the new CARES Act has added $600 a week to people that are on unemployment, in addition to their normal benefit. So that kicked in this week already. I know a few people that got it. So you add that up, and if there's 13 million people times 600 a week, we could do math, that's going to add up in a hurry on top of everything else. And then I think Josh had posted something to me where, we're taking a quick dive turnaround. So yeah, they were happy in the beginning. Then they want to shock you. Did we have another new announcement? That's quite the sharp turnaround there. Disaster relief applications are at 3.3 billion as of last night. Wow. Is that for businesses, Stephen? Through that PPP program, the payroll protection or whatever they're calling it? Okay. Oh, not that one? A whole separate one? Jeez. Greg says my whole plant just got laid off except for just a few of us. Around 14,000 people. Holy cow. If you don't mind me asking, Greg, where are you at? Where are they laying off 14,000 people? Oh, it looks like Dave's probably actively trading because he just updated in the real-time update service. So we'll give him a pass on why he's not here. The SBA disaster relief is separate from PPP. So yeah, there's just program after program after program coming out. It's nothing but making more money. BMW manufacturing. Wow. That must be quite the facility that's a lot of people. That is so sad to hear. Well, Greg, you let me know if you got any questions around this system. So, or if anybody else that needs help, you let me know and I'll help you. This is a great way to generate income while it's desperately needed. Andre, the link to the real-time service is in your portal account, and Dave has the Slack channel in there. So if you go to your Strong Market portal account, you will see the real-time update service information. You were on the river? You were floating down the river with Davy Crockett? Green's here with us, Ken. What's Ken got? Did I miss it? Oh, gotcha. You guys are together. Okay. Cool. Do you guys know each other, I'm assuming then? Nice. Yeah, I know Josh was sharing with a few people too that and he's even got his kid interested in it now. That's fantastic. His kid wants to trade before he goes to school, which is like downstairs right now. Gotcha. Well, I appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for spreading the word that you have faith that you will tell your friends about us. I'm gonna give Dave a hard time. The gang misses you, Dave. We'll see if that gets him to sneak over. All right. Team Kiefer using a demo account with the trade of it yesterday and noticed the spread. The spread on what did you notice? The bid ask spread for the futures contracts or a different spread? Really? I've never seen it not. On what contracts? MES? MES? Let me look. What time of day was it? Yeah, whenever I'm in there. So this is my ladder right now. You know, they're always tight. Are you saying like one was high and one was low at noon? I've never seen these ever separated. Is it real time or is it, or maybe the demo account's different? I haven't been in the demo account a long time, so that could have been maybe something going on. I would ask their support to say, yeah, that would be my guess because I've never seen a futures contract with a bid ask spread anything more than one tick outside of when the markets are closed. So that's probably exactly what it was. It's not like options where you get big spreads, right? It's always right next to each other. 3 to 5 points, or like 3 to 5 ticks. That's crazy. Yeah, that's got to be a glitch in the demo account. All right, let's see what else we got cooking here. Yeah, internals are all staying up. Looks like they're highly manipulating everything as we're used to seeing. Because even the internals didn't change much during that quick little bounce back. But as we see, NQ came right up to a resistance level, same as the Russell. The only ones that didn't were the ES and the YM at that same time. So they will work in conjunction for anybody that hasn't and aren't using the pivots yet that are built into TOS here. They tend to play Pong. See how we raised up, came back down, bounced off this one, came up to this one, bounced down. Now we're bouncing off this line, coming back up. So you get the feel for how they interoperate. Yeah, check it out, Kiefer. Let me know. I'd be curious about that because I've never experienced that. Dun, dun, dun. Cool. Which Josh we got in the room? Is that Josh R? Or is that a different Josh? Is that my partner in crime, my beta tester? Oh, and one thing I am going to be updating for a heads up. The yeah, there's specific formulas that they're based off of. It's easiest just to Google it. I'll pull it up right now. But it's based on the open and the close, the highs and the lows of the previous day. There is formulas for it. That's how they find them. So just Google person's pivots and you'll see the formula. I can pull it up if we need to. For the Camarilla pivots, do you get the same when they flash on and off? What do you mean when they flash? So the Camarillas are these lines, and they are slightly adjusted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload my version, which is basically turning them on, except for the very first 1 and 2. I think they're off by default. So I'm going to leave the first 2 off because those seem to be a little bit too tight. I've never seen mine appear or disappear, Sham. When the line's there, it should never leave. It shouldn't flash, unless maybe it's around the market open and close time and it's establishing the next day. But I've never seen that. Josh is mentioning the yes, no, no. That's on the person's pivot, not on the Camarilla. So I'll pull that up here. Let's go into settings on one of them and we'll show you. Dun, 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 dun. So in the person's pivots, come into the gear, no problem. So I think the apply levels filter is set to no or yes by default potentially. And then these are the lines. So the PP is the first one. That's the person's pivot. That's the whatever color you want to call it. I call it pinkish. Some people call it purple. Some people are colorblind, specifically me. And then the resistance lines, I think RR is off by default, and you can turn it on, which I do have turned on. Same as R1. You can see all the R1 and 2s are red. That's default settings. So we want to make sure those are all on show plots. So that's all of our levels. And the greens on the support sides. So double verify. I thought they were all turned on by default, but I just did check it when you go in there and switch this to a no. So day time frame, no. Everything on across the board here. And you should be good to go. What's different in the Camarilla, and I'm going to upload this guy, is very similar, where they have the resistance and the support levels. These are the ones where R1, I don't have it showing an S1 because it's just too close. It seems to be too many indicators. So past that, it might even be 1 and 2. Yeah, it is 3, 4, and 5. So S3, 4, and 5 are the show plots, and the lines in the 5th one is blue. So you know it's like at the extreme. Magenta, Steve says. It probably is. It's not a guy name. It's a female version of the color. So yeah, just check to make sure you're on slow plots, and I will upload this guy. Same thing, day for aggregation, length of 1. The bare bones toss one seems to want to. Oh, we got a bunch of people back at the door. Let everybody in. Like nobody's having problems with the new password embedded in the link, so good job, guys. I just got to keep watching if anybody's waiting at the front door. No lurkers. So yeah, I'm going to put up a Camarilla script in the members area, so you don't have to go in and start, because there is a, if you look in here, it is built into TOS, so that's why I'm perfectly fine just modifying it and showing you guys what it is there's the Camarilla points are the base of what this one, they call it Pivot Boss, is built out of. So it's just a slight deviation from their the defaults. So it's easier for me to just use the one that I have the preset defaults on instead of walking you through it, because it seemed a putsy to me. So that's the 2 on there. Yeah, Sham, if you got flashing lines, check that out. Ask TOS what's going on. Why is it flashing on you? Because I've never seen those flash. And the pivots. And now we're going all the way down. See how we hit the Camarillas here? You can't make this stuff up, guys. Greg says, proprietary indicator for previous day's high and low that I used with a different trading system in accordance with fib levels. Yeah, I've seen that work too. I'm not a big fib guy. I feel that it's, at least I never mastered it, at least. Everyone has their different ways of using indicators. So if it's working for you, don't change it and just add it to your tool chest, especially if it lines up with some of these guys. Is Tradovate still the platform to go with for the micro contracts? That's what I'm using. So you can use whoever you want to. They have decent commission rates and decent margin levels, I find. Infinity Futures is still a decent platform as well. I just got away from Interactive Brokers because their execution was less than optimal. So they drove me crazy getting in and out of my positions. And I was no longer trading a second account at the same time. I used to be trading some of my father's investments, but we moved it elsewhere into just some longer term things where I wasn't just trading it. So that was the biggest bonus for myself of using my Interactive Broker. I had the client advisor set up where I could trade 2, 3, 4 accounts identically with one entry and one exit. They were all linked together. They were fantastic for that. I haven't seen anybody else that does that. So if I wanted to pay the price of poor executions but still trade multiple accounts, I would look at still using that. But just for my own stuff, I got away from them. Trade of 8's fantastic. I think their minimum account is like $500. But I think I would recommend a little bit more because you want to do more than just one contract, especially the way when you'll see the new masterclass, Andre, if you haven't checked it out yet. It's easier to scale out of your positions if you start with more than one. That's why we use the micros. So you can at least have 2 open as you're learning. And they have, just like I think every broker out there, they have fluctuated in the margin requirements in this high volatility where I think the lowest it's been is $500 and they went up to 1,000 on some, or so they have fluctuated, but it's still been manageable. Like I say, I started that account with $5,000. I think that's very reasonable. It's pretty low entry point to trade futures contracts. I'm opening up 4 contracts with that account out the gate. You start with 3, scale up to 2, and start with 2, then scale up to 2, 4, 6, as you prove out that you know how to leverage the system. Sean's going to be going through it. I do have a workspace template in there. Yes, there is a toss one, so I'll give you a heads up on that too. It's the same one I have loaded right here. There is extra ones in there, so depending on your compute power, you may want to turn a few off. Like if you have a laptop that doesn't have all the resources, I'll pull over the different ones because I haven't even adjusted them yet today. So you do have all the market indexes are on there in the workspace that I have saved in the class. It has the major grid that you'll see is this one that I designed for the MES Masterclass. And look at this weekly chart on the ES. How fun is that? So here's our target levels that we've been blowing through to the upside. This was actually yesterday lines, but there's the weekly bar. So this one's on there, watching the SPY and the ES, because that is the focus of the course. And as you saw, it's like 5 or 6 different charts. And obviously the internals that we're looking at here, and more the major indexes with all the other market timer indicators. So I use them as barometers. Yeah, you can just import it. You got it. What you'll have to do is obviously set your strong market scripts, because that's not part of a saved workspace since it's not a default toss script. So the framework will be there, then you just dial it in. You got it. And then remove the charts that you don't want. Like you could just come down to only a few charts. But the way that I leverage it, that's part of what I'm going to go over in my little overview video, is just high level in the workspace, and then the strategy itself is the one part you will see added to the masterclass. And we see it close right on it. Look at that. Dip below, closed right on. Fun. You're welcome, Andre. All right. Dave did not reply to me, so we're already close to halfway through. Greg says CME has changed intraday margins to double for now due to the reason. Yep, exactly. I think even the CME. So yeah, not even the broker, but the CME itself. Absolutely. So sometimes you can get the double whammy there, where CME is going to range them, and the broker will have whatever level they set at. Could be even more. So each broker sets their own. I think that is the base that they have to start with. All right. Gary wants back in. Come on in, Gary. I think Gary's getting bounced a couple times. He must have a funny internet because there's too many people on the internet these days. Let's see, how else are we doing here? Nothing but very common, Andre. I actually had one that I took off right before we started this morning because we broke another level on the ES here, and I rode this trade up a little bit right before we started. But yeah, beautiful pre-market trade here. That's what you'll find as you're going through the course, is identifying what to look for and then where to set your entry levels and your target levels. It is smoother pre-market. You'll notice as you're watching it, it starts getting more jumpy the closer you get to the open. Absolutely. And obviously a lot more volume when the market's open. Volume is key in this strategy, as you will also find out. Ninja Trader and Tradeovate are at the bare minimums. Cool. Thanks, Greg. It's quite the reversal right on it there too. Good times. So it is a compromise. Well, just when you have more volume, right, and more activity leads to additional volatility, which is not as smooth, right? Especially on the open. We can have very smooth afternoons where it just slowly scales up. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's a compromise. It's just looking at the levels, and you want to be able to make your decisions with the highest probabilities, and that's what I covered in there. They give you more confidence in trusting what's going to happen. So we are, wow, I should pull up a YMNQ workspace. I don't have it loaded right now, but I see just looking at the percentages, the Dow's up 1.8% and the NASDAQ is down 0.1. So that's almost a 2% spread. Holy cow. Yes, I will take trades during regular hours. I typically don't trade the afternoons. So pre-market, shortly after the open, yep, those are viable. But then after 10, 11, it gets into the lunchtime. Wall Street's going to lunch. It's not as predictable, or it's not as the probabilities go down. So I typically don't trade anything past 10 o'clock or anything past 9 o'clock on these days because I'm talking to you guys, except for Tuesday where you saw me do one quick. You're welcome, Team Kiefer. Happy to help. There you go. Josh says best to stay out between 10 and 1 Central. I agree. We're working on Josh and not over trading. I tease in good fun, Josh. I appreciate you. If you haven't got to it yet, you guys will even get to hear Josh. He is part of the masterclass. So thank you again, sir, for your help with that. He's got thick skin. That's good. You need it in this business. It's not for the weak of heart or the meek of heart. Andre says, is there any way to set triggers, or do you have to watch the screen at all times? If you're not, well, you can set your triggers after you're in the trade if you need to walk away and you can't monitor it. I would not set an entry to fire unless I was watching it. But if you're in it and you need to leave, and you can set your target for your stop loss and your profit targets, and you could walk away. That's viable. But not an entry. I haven't even looked at thinking of that and automating it. Because there's a few variables that go into it. I mean, yeah, we do set, here's the price where I want to get in, here's the price I want to get out, but I want to see a couple things happening at the same time. And I'm not if I need to find a developer that can code that and a few of my variables to automate it, that would be fantastic. And then I'll be living on my island where there's no viruses. All right, what else is cooking? Oh yeah, the other part too is I'm welcome any feedback you guys see in that new class. Obviously, it was my first go around for making a full one, so I got thick skin too. So if you love it, if you hate it, let me know either way. I'm above 90% success rate since I've opened that account using this. The first day, I think it was part of me getting used to Tradovate and just what was going on where I jumped in early on one. I actually had a losing day on the first one. Spoiler alert, day one. You'll see it. But since then, I think I've had one trade that wasn't. It's I don't have the new tally as of yesterday. It's over 90%. Thank you, Andre. I appreciate it. Steven says it would be nice to write a script that runs off the active trader that you can get in and out based on percentages automatically. Yeah, like I say, if there's a way to automate it, I'll find it. But that takes some of the fun out of it. Or I shouldn't say fun, but you know what I mean. You got to do something to make your money. We have enough people printing money already, Steven, right? You're just trying to be one of the Rothschilds. No, not 9K, Asham. I haven't almost doubled it yet. It's at 6,400 as of the 7th. So I went from 5,000 to 6,500 in 3 weeks. 90% in terms of trades, yep. And what percentage does each trade begin? $100, give or take. Some are 80, I've had some days where it's 175, right around there. And here's the icing on the cake for this, guys. This is with the micros. So you'll see in the videos I'm on 4 contracts and I scale out. That's key to it too. And I'm now moving up to 6 where I enter, go to 8, 10. Once I'm at 10, this exact thing scales into the ES. So once you build your account up, I started with a 5,000 account on this one for the micros. I'd probably guesstimate a $50,000 account to trade the full E-minis. Give or take margin rates, I have to check it quick because I haven't looked recently again, obviously. But as long as you can hold those contracts open with a $50,000 account, you just add a 0. So instead of making $100 a day, it's 1,000 on the exact same moves, exact same thing, just different contracts. Right? As long as you have that stop loss and that risk that you can move up to that, this works for both ES or MES. You just take away a 0 or add a 0. So we can quickly move this from, going from 50,000 to 64,000 in 3 weeks. And it's snowing. It was 70 degrees on Monday, and now it's snowing in my backyard. Fantastic. Let me know if I get too dark. I'll have to turn my light on. So that's the future. That's where I'm gonna scale it up, and it shouldn't take us long to move from 5 to 10. And the other part that I can see with this is you can leverage it for your income, right? So start with a $5,000 account, move it up to 7,500, pull 2,000 out, use it however you need, save some for taxes. Obviously, I'm not a tax advisor. Do all your personal work there, and just keep rinse and repeat. Yeah, I would say the average time that I'm in, Asham is asking time for staying in the trades, 5 to 10 minutes at most. Obviously, you take your profits where you can. Yep, you will see exactly where I set those profit targets, Asham, when you check it out. And, it could be in for a few minutes to, if it's around the open, I'd probably get out at whatever I had just to avoid that volatility. Or it can be half hour. It's usually shorter, but that's not to say that it might not be an hour-long trade. Greg thinks NinjaTrader and Tradovate So $1,000 for ES. There you go. So if I want, so you need to have really only 1,000. So I could hold 4 ES contracts with $4,000. That seems funny. That seems like super over leverage. The key too, as with anything, is you need to follow the rules. You can't deviate and say, well, I'm gonna ignore this for this reason, or I'm gonna, this looks good, I'm gonna follow this. You have to follow the rules, or else your hand will get slapped. You have to have proper money management. So if it's going against you, you need to go out before it's too far against you, as with anything. Who is it? Is Isaac in here? Isaac is not. Isaac also has made, I don't know if this is a bad time for him that he can't make the trading rooms, but he's also doing a similar, where he's using the Renko Cloud, but he's using a modified tick chart that he was going to share with me so I could share with everybody else that he's having some pretty good success with. So yeah, if you guys got ideas, definitely share them around. I don't claim to be the one that has all the answers. I just find things that work for me and I share them with you, and I build a class out, and I want you guys to be successful too, which is basically what Dave's done over the years. I learned from Dave. You've seen everything that he does, and I'm just trying to continue that. Yeah, Andre, I'm not even looking at the VA right now just because it's not in the regular operational mode as it was before this correction or crash or whatever we want to call it. There are some short opportunities. I shouldn't say short opportunities. I should say short-term opportunities where it has worked out because it went to drastic lows. Do I have the VA? I haven't updated it recently. Let me see. Let's see if I got that spreadsheet. There it is. I'll pull it down here. Just ridiculous. It went all the way to a -40 on the bell curve. I don't think that's ever happened. And look at these 3% moves in a day. The cross column bell curve is up at 70, and actually the overbought, oversold level, 3 digits. So then we had some, so here's the part that I don't like. And I was adjusting some of these. Josh is cheering for 2,800. We already went through 2,800. Sorry. So here's the trick part, is we went from a -4 to a -6 here. So it was going up the bell curve, but it was positive on the day. That's not what we expect. So there's some anomalies happening with this market activity. That's why I'm not trading it right now. As we were coming down, this is in line where, yes, we should be positive as it's coming down, but it continued to the upside and then it went negative. That doesn't make sense. That's not normal. So we see a lot of when they're both negative, typically the VA spread is positive, but that's not holding true. So a lot of the things that are rare are happening more often right now, and just at a super extreme with what happened since then. It was ever since we had this super long run down, it was back in, that it was harder to do. And that's where I started looking at the prices and the contract sizing, because we saw they were so far skewed that just the relationship wasn't there. So we had to find the right pairing. It wasn't just a 1-to-1 YMNQ anymore, because the dollar values were so far different, their notional values. And so that leads to the spread itself to be thrown slightly different. So I'm testing version 4, or an updated one, that takes the spread account into the notional values to try and normalize that. That way, hey, I need to be, leveraging the micros where it's like 4-to-5 ratio versus a 1-to-1. That's why we designed this grid here, and these need to be updated. So I I broke these because I was changing it again, so I haven't had a chance to go back and fix it yet. So that's why the VA is off the table for me right now. Once we get back into normal markets, absolutely, it'll be another one of the bread and butter strategies. It's just one of those, what strategy do you want to use for what market environment? And that's kind of the key of why we leave the other courses up that Dave did all the time. There's still people that are successful with the three-legged box spread that like trading options, you know, the higher volatility versus the lower volatility timeframes. That was a really long answer for one question for the VA, but I wanted you guys to understand what was cooking there. All right. Q2, no changes at all in the internals. Everybody's still happy. So apparently it was a fake out to the bottom. And as we saw, how do you call this trading strat? What do you mean, how do I call it? Short-term day trading? Sham says, speaking of strategies, is the MES setup evergreen? I mean, yes, it can be used in all situations. Absolutely. I don't have a name for it yet outside of the Futures Masterclass, Andre. Maybe that should be something I should come up with, right? Dave coined phrases, you know, the money every month, and we'll have to, maybe we'll have a poll. Maybe I'll let you guys name it. Send in your vote for what you want to name the class after you see how it works. Let me know. We'll get the top 10 and we'll have a short-term cash machine. There you go. See if we can make it a cool acronym. We heard Dave say that more than once, didn't we? It's like going to the ATM machine. I call it, you're going to sniper school. Maybe I'll call it sniper trading. Ooh. Interesting. Josh likes it. Get out before it turned back around, Josh. You didn't make 2,800. He likes that big round number, as he likes to call it. Good job. All right. Any final questions you guys got? Anybody that's wrapping up, if you don't have access, as usual, support at Tradingology is how you can get a hold of me. I will answer as fast as possible. We may have a little bit higher than normal activity on email, but I'll do my best. Mark says he came in a little bit late. Busy work. Yeah, I know. Life still gets in the way sometimes, right? Workday starts 6:45 to 7, but eases off around 9 to 9:30. It still can, absolutely. It just depends on once you see how the setups are made, and I think you've been through the first couple, right, Mark? Whereas it might just be later that you take advantage of different levels versus the initial level. So it is possible. And that's a good point. I'll take a note. I'll cover some of that in my overview video. Let me add that to it. You're welcome. All right. Team Kiefer's upgrade. Yeah, if it's let me know if you need anything. Use the coupon code, save half price. We're in there. I want to get everybody access to this. And I got a few thank yous, so I appreciate the feedback for those that have already emailed. And I did spend a good amount of time and effort on this, so I have more and more respect for Dave as the more I do this, as now I see what it takes to launch a whole course and get it out to you guys. it's been fun. I'll say that, but it's been a lot of work. So I appreciate you guys taking this and running with it. And I want to hear about your success. So if you use this and you're making some money, let me know. It doesn't have to be millions of dollars. I just want to know that you're consistently making singles and doubles. That's what this is about. This isn't about home runs all the time. This is about reproducible, profitable system. So if you're making $100 a day, let me know. If you're making $50 a day, yeah, let me know. Exactly. Consistency is key, Greg. We're in this for the long haul. We're not here to do this to make 100 grand and run away. If that's your expectation, then send your money somewhere else to burn, because that's not reality, or that's a lottery ticket. Josh says, do not go for home runs. Ask me how I know. Exactly. Then you scale up. Once you repeat, you can do $100 a day. Then you make that 150 a day, 200 a day, 250 a day. Baby steps. Then you're consistent. So with whatever you already have recorded as one ready to trade, yes, you can be ready to trade with that. Other than, you'll get it. You'll understand it when you see all 5 days. Put them all together. Like, don't just watch the first one and try and do it. Get through all 5 and then watch the interview I did with Josh. Look at the setup. If you got any questions on the setup, let me know. There's the workspace in there if you just want to customize it to yourself. I might update the workspace because since I did everything from scratch, I have made a few other settings. So maybe I'll put an original workspace and then an updated workspace if I get to that, because there is just the annoying settings of like the price zoom and the time zoom that I've set since I used that initial one. When you go into settings, these guys, like, these are not checked by default, and it drives me up the wall. So every time you open up your platform, you got to spend 5 minutes of clicking and scrolling. So I think I've fixed that. So I might do one workspace update. And then, yeah, if you got any questions on the setup, let me know. And you'll just obviously have to add in the strong market indicators there. So the price signals, the wrinkle cloud, are absolutely used. So I'm assuming most of you guys already have all of those. If there's someone watching this after that needs the complete market timer system, you can also get that through us. As you know, Dave has since made that for resellers only. So strong market, Tradingology is an official strong market script reseller. I think we're one of only like 3 people in the world that can do that. So I'm happy to be able to provide those to you guys, so I can get those to you as well at a discount. And even though we don't use the balance of power and everything directly in the sniper trading strategy, STS, I do use them for just to know where we are in the market. Like, I'll look at where we are in the curves. I'll look at what the balance is. Obviously, the internals come into play. Those are in there. And I look at the synth and the MT oscillators, supply demand. They all come into play. I just don't actively watch it while in the trade, but they go into my thinking. Yeah, that's what they called it. I don't even remember where I got the Pivot Boss Camarilla from, Steven. So that's why I'm going to make one that's the same, because I don't want to try and pretend I'm ripping off that guy that made Pivot Boss, because all he did was change the defaults of the Camarilla points, which is a toss setup. And I'm just mimicking my defaults so you guys can have that. So yeah, Pivot Boss won't be in there. I'm going to upload one that is a custom one that's not from a third party, if that makes sense to you. Awesome. Yeah, don't go for home runs. Scale up. Good job. Get in trouble. And you'll learn, as many times, Josh and I were just joking about this, as many times as people we try to tell you, and I see it now, where it's like, don't do this. I got burned doing this. Sometimes you still got to touch that stove to see if it's hot. I know you guys are going to do it. It's just the nature of human life. Appreciate it, Josh. See you later. You're going to have one where you say, no, it's going to come back. I'm going to go past my mental stop loss. Then it's going to run even farther, and you're going to be down more than you want to. It'll happen. Ask me how I know. It's just human nature. But the more you get away from that and cut your losses where you need to, the better you will be. The trademark in the circle. And there you exactly. I need to put a copyright on sniper trading. We'll call it the sniper trading system. That sounds fun. I like that. All right, guys, any final questions? We'll wrap it up and we'll take you off or see you for another weekend. Hopefully everyone's staying safe out there. We just got the call from our governor through May 4th. So there was already jokes going around where Cinco de Mayo is really going to mean something new this year. If that's the first day people can go back outside closer to normal. I don't think there's ever going to be the same normal again. We'll see. Yeah, we're down to stay at home for another month. Interesting times. So yeah, you guys take care of yourselves, take care of your family. We'll get through it. And Dave never even answered me, so maybe he's still watching my masterclass. Appreciate it, Kiefer. You stay well too. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. You're welcome. Yep, be safe, Ken. Good to see you. Team Kiefer, have a good weekend. Yeah, exactly. I kind of hope the volatility doesn't leave either, Steven, because it makes life a lot easier, actually, when we got moves like this. You can be in and out, no problem. Thank you, Andre. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. It's not the easiest thing to run it yourself, so even more respect again. Cheers, Asham. Coffee, cheers. All right, gents, we're going to wrap it up. Appreciate it. Hit me up on the email if you need me. Yep, we'll see you Tuesday. Same bad channel, same bad time. Have a good day, everyone.